Hey, welcome back to the Lightspeed Social Agency YouTube channel. I'm in a little bit different spot today. You might hear a little bit of road noise, but I hope that you will bear with me because I think this is going to be a really helpful video for you if you saw the headline and you thought, man, that is where I would like to be if you were trying to break into the six figures with your business. Hopefully this will give you not the specific tactics that will get you there, but the sort of mindset shift that you have to make to go from sort of owning a job to moving into the realm of, hey, you own a business now, and you're crossing that $100,000 top line revenue threshold. So instead of tactics, what I'm going to be giving you are like the mindset things that you have to change, and also the kind of core strategies that will help push you over that $100,000 threshold. So let's dive in and take a look at these. I've got my notes over here. I'm in a little bit different spot, as you can see from the video here than I'm normally in. So bear with me here as I'm glancing down at my notes. So the first strategy that you have to implement is becoming a specialist, right? Your business needs to focus on a core set of services, 2 to 3, 5 is probably pushing it. You want to really focus in and become great at a few things, and don't be afraid to say no to bad jobs, right? Don't waste your time and your reputation doing things that you are not great at, that you can't become a master of, right? So sometimes, when Mrs. Jones comes to you asking you to do like one other job, maybe that's something that you can't do, you don't know how to do, you don't have the time to properly invest in learning how to do it correctly. And it is fine to turn down work that's going to cost you in the long run, either when you have overruns of labor because you didn't know how to estimate it correctly, you do it wrong, so you have to do it multiple times, then you do it so wrong and you have to come back so many times. Mrs. Jones goes from being a happy customer to an upset customer, and then she's leaving a bad review, and then that costs you money in the long run. So it's important to be able to say no to jobs that are not things that your company is going to focus on, at least at this time. Being able to say no because you are a specialist is so important to your business. It's going to pay dividends because you're doubling down on the things that you are the best at, right? You're learning how to say like, hey, we don't have the bandwidth to take that on right now. That is a good thing, because then what it means is you're going to actually go and spend that time getting more jobs that are in your niche, right? And so that's what I want you to focus on, is carving out your niche in the market. And then once you get really deep into that is when you can start looking at expanding into other things. But when you are still trying to pass that $100,000 mark, you need to be digging deeper into your niche. There are, in that 2 to 5 services range, there are enough people in your market to support a business at that size. And so there's no reason to start looking for all of these other things you can do that divide your focus, and you become, we talked about this on the podcast in the last couple weeks, sort of jack of all trades, master of none, and kind of bad at everything, right? If you don't really focus on becoming the best at a few things in your market, it's going to help you measure and improve your time and profit in the services you focus on, right? You're collecting more data about the same kind of jobs if you're tracking your start and stop times and all of that. That's going to give you better information to make better decisions in future seasons. It's going to let you have a kind of a bigger set of data to make those conclusions from. So if you are deciding like, man, do we need to spend more on marketing Weed and Furt next year? It's much better to make a decision based on like the profitability of 300 clients versus the profitability of 25 clients. It'll help you see like, ooh, we really we're dense in this neighborhood and that helped our profitability a lot, but I'm still not seeing the margins from this service that I'd like to see. And maybe there's something about that neighborhood or subdivision in particular that makes the service worse there, makes it take longer. The lawns are a lot bigger, and so actually you needed to quote a little bit more because it was going to take more time. That's the sort of decision you won't be able to make if you're not really focused in a few areas. Because if you're trying to make all of those decisions about, 10 to 20 services, some of them you only offered 2 or 3 times because someone asked, it's harder to make good decisions that flow from the data that's in your business if you're kind of scattered all over the place. And finally, you're able to focus on serving only the best clients, right? If you're kind of desperate for clients and taking on any job you can take on versus, hey, we know that our Weed and Furt jobs in, Shady Oaks subdivision are super profitable. The clients are easy to deal with. They don't have time to come back and complain to us. We're doing really good work here. Everybody has St. Augustine and it's easy to take care of. Whatever the reasons are that it's great, you're able to double down on those great customers instead of, Mrs. Smith over here and Mrs. Jones over here and Mr. Smith over here, all of these like spread out things that are going to be a challenge. Before we move on to strategies 2 and 3, make sure you like this video. It helps us get in front of other people, get suggested to other people, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, we'd really appreciate it. This is the kind of content that we put out here. Sometimes it's very specific on the ground tactics to follow, and other times it's more high level strategy like this to help you develop the mindset to grow your business to the next level. Strategy number 2, you need to hire good employees and nurture them. And that is not just treating them well, that is, kind of providing the ladder, right? Where they can go from being on the crew to being a crew leader to being a supervisor. Maybe you're pulling people into operations roles that are a little higher up. I know that that's more like long-term thinking, but presenting an opportunity for development as well as treating your people really, really well is going to help you develop a team that wants to be in your company and is invested in the future of the company, right? And so getting people to think about your business as more than just a job, but as, a team effort that they're helping to grow, getting that buy-in from people is really going to help you with the health and quality of the services that you provide. Without employees and without employees doing quality work, the business is going to shrivel up and die. And so it is so, so important to always have great team members, to try to build a culture where people feel appreciated and feel like they can, come to you with a problem with like, hey, we're really struggling to get this done. Maybe we're getting stretched too thin here. You want that kind of feedback to come from employees. And so you have to create an environment where they feel comfortable bringing that sort of thing to you. And that leads into the next point, is that you need to always be hiring, right? Because you never know when someone's going to leave. I know how difficult it is to hire in the green industry. It's so hard to find people who can even like physically keep up with the demands of the work in the green industry, especially in the summer when things are going crazy. And that's why people need to be compensated really well. You have to charge prices that make it where you can pay top of the market for your labor. So when you find someone who is a good quality employee, you're taking good care of them, you're nurturing them. It's also important to make sure that, if you need to let someone go, that's not going to put you in a bad situation, right? Because when we end up understaffed and people are having to pull more than their fair share of the weight, that then is going to hurt morale overall. It's going to have people start looking for other jobs because it's becomes too much. And so when they start looking for other jobs, then they leave and it becomes a vicious cycle, right? So we want to be always hiring, always bringing on people. You want to have marketing and hiring be kind of in tension with each other, right? Where we want to like have really audacious marketing goals and put spend behind it to get new customers in the door. But we want to always be hiring and, maybe hiring a little extra if we can, so that we're never forced to, make a bad hiring decision because we just need another body behind a mower. So you want to always be hiring, always be taking really, really good care of your team. And I would challenge you to come up with all of the reasons why, if you have worked other jobs, you've worked in some sort of service industry position before, really think about the things that were a struggle for you in that position. Maybe you worked in another lawn care business before, and there were things that you didn't like about it enough that you went and started your own business rather than stay there. Think about what those things were and think about how you can be a different sort of boss than the bosses you've had before. And sometimes, we have really good examples of bosses in our past that we can look to and emulate. So think about those things as well, things that people did positively in your career. And then let's talk about strategy number 3. So strategy number 3 is that you have to market in a smart way. We don't want to be doing shotgun blasts. We don't want to waste money on Facebook boosted posts. We don't want to send out mailers to everybody in our entire zip code, right? We don't want to, kind of spray and pray to everyone we could ever work with ever. We need to target our ads. It cuts down on drive time where people are being paid, but they're not producing billable work, right? So the closer jobs are together, the more profitable you're making all of the jobs on that route. So route density is key. That's why you want to be targeting your ads on specific subdivisions. It's why you want to do, 5 and 9 around so that you're hitting up everybody surrounding current clients. And then you want to target subdivisions are good for your business, are profitable. Kind of when I say that, I know you're thinking of a few places in your market that you really like working. So those are places to focus your ads. And sort of the low budget option there is to kind of DIY some Facebook ads using we have a video where we walk you through how to target just the neighborhood and not the apartment complex across the street and people who commute past. So watch that video. We'll link it up here to learn how to do the DIY version of that hyper-local targeting of your ads. And then only sell your most profitable services to the best possible clients, right? If you are still on the verge of $100,000 in top line revenue every year, almost any market can support that in just, your maintenance, weed and fert, mulching, very profitable jobs that are scalable, right? And so focusing on this sort of stuff will really help you scale your business. What we talked about here is focusing in on just a few services that you can become excellent at. And then when we've got the product correct, we want to focus on our company culture. We want to have great employees. We want to always be hiring so that our bench is stacked and no one feels stretched too thin, so that we don't create that vicious cycle of people leaving and hiring people who aren't great and just further damaging morale. And then that third strategy of really hyper focusing your marketing on the best possible clients in the best neighborhoods with the most profitable jobs, and then upselling those people on other profitable services, your other core services that you provide, is really going to help you explode your business, increase that growth potential, and get you over $100,000 a year. Thank you so much for watching this video. If this was helpful to you, I hope that you'll click the bell for notifications. You'll like this video, maybe send it to somebody else in the business that it would help out. That's how we grow here at Lightspeed. Thank you so much.